Have you ever been pestered to watch a show only to find out after finally watching it that it's actually amazing? That is what just happened to me, and it happens way too often. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and today I want to talk about Trigun, an amazing anime that was released all the way back in 1998. Now I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, but you know how everywhere when people talk about classic anime, they're always talking about the exact same ones that you've never watched? Well, recently, I've made it a mission of mine to watch all of those shows, and so far, all it's done is make me cry over Cowboy Bebop and mentally scar me over Neon Genesis Evangelion.
It all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
But all jokes aside, people may say that Trigun is an all-time classic, and let me be frank, they're right. Trigun does so much right and not a whole lot wrong, honestly. First of all, off the top, can you get a more iconic opening? Like, it's a bit sad with openings in recent years because they all sort of sound the same, but don't get me wrong, there are quite a few gems here and there. But with as simple as Trigun's opening is, damn does it get stuck in your head and make an impression. For those of you who haven't watched Trigun, let me give you a brief rundown of the story. So, our main character, Vash the Stampede, is a lone gunman wandering through the world trying to live a peaceful life. Though obviously enough, that doesn't exactly work out for him, with him getting into predicament after predicament, and people chasing him due to his insanely large bounty that makes him infamous throughout the land. Vash's character is for sure a favorite of mine, since he goes by the model of the goofy character who when in certain situations shows their true serious nature. Personally, I love this model, especially when it's done well and in interesting ways. Not to mention, it's the perfect way to make a show with serious topics have comedy and lighthearted moments, and it can really break out the monotony. Now, don't think that's all there is to the show like I originally thought, because take my word for it, it isn't. The show gets quite dark and takes some twists and turns I honestly did not see coming. Which is why you should always watch a few episodes of a show before you judge it, take my word. A lot of the time when I resist stalking the show at episode 1, it turns out to be an amazing experience. If I were to give Trigun a rating though, I'd give it a love and peace out of 10. Now, if you plan to watch Trigun, or just don't want any spoilers for it, I recommend you turn back now if you want to remain pure, as I'm going to be discussing major plot elements and the ending of the show, so I'll give you some time to leave if you have to. All done? Good. Now for the small fraction that's still with me, we can talk about the dark ass turn this show took. All starting with this edgelord and Vash's backstory. Now, I've seen a lot of dramatic anime backstories in my day, but this takes the cake. I mean, I was wondering throughout the entire show what planet they were on, and sure, I can get behind the whole escaping a dead Earth plot, but right when it was revealed that Vash and his brother Knives are somehow plants, like, let's take a break here for a second, you know, plants? I don't know about you, but when I see plants, I don't see this. I see this, alright? I don't see this, I see this. And once again, yes, I will say that I did see the whole his brother is turning evil due to how he was treated, and thinking he was whole above humans kind of deal. Though nevertheless, it was executed wonderfully. Now, an aesthetic that I absolutely adore from anime like this are all the mystery that surrounds the show. Like for example in Cowboy Bebop, when in countless episodes they deal with mysterious situations that all result from things that have happened in the past. For example, that one insane murderer guy that kept chasing Spike, when in reality he was just a result of an experiment that happened long ago. Trigun does a lot of things like that, especially with the one ship that didn't crash and kept itself floating in the sky. And it had a full city's worth of people living on it, separated from the western-like world that lied below. And on the topic of that city, one of the fights that actually had me on the edge of my seat happened there. And can we just talk about that guy and his dolls, and how they need to die in a goddamn inferno? Because I never expected that one old guy to be a puppet, nevertheless more than one of him. And there's just something about weird identical puppets that really send a shiver down my spine. Oh, and this guy was there too, but who cares about him? Enough on that though. Can we talk about the best priest and his berserk level weapon that really puts the try in Trigun? Nicholas D. Wolford is one of my favorite characters of this show, and has for sure one of the saddest deaths. Like, come on. Of all the people to die, why did it have to be him? Oh, and the two other primary side characters, Meryl Streep and Millie Thompson, are fantastic as well. They really do add that extra comedic touch, and supplement the dramatic moments as well. Now onto our main villain, Millions Knives, the space plant who is Vash's brother and enemy. He isn't exactly the best villain out there, but that isn't to say he still isn't bad on any regards. Sending out and possibly creating the gung-ho guns, his formula has been done before, though he pulls it off just fine. What I want to talk about is the final clash between the two brothers, truly a fitting battle with little to no words at all. Personally, in my opinion, this is what final battles should be like. No need for extensive inner monologues or explanations of what's happening. Just straight up unfiltered fighting where both sides are more or less equal. Like with all the build-up that fight had, Trigun handled the final fight beautifully, and it may be one of my favorite scenes from the anime in general. Just Knives sitting in his mini utopia, only for Vash to come in and for them to just be there for a few seconds, well aware of what needs to happen. That, my esteemed viewers, is how you execute a finale. Trigun is for sure a classic. Now, if you're new to my channel and like my special brand of nonsense, do consider subscribing so you can see more stuff from me like this. That being said, today's cool thing of the day is the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. In case you haven't noticed, Cowboy Bebop has been on my mind recently, partially because the entire time I wrote this script I was listening to the soundtrack, and man is it good, so definitely check it out. That being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.